What's up, folks? Welcome to my channel. As you may know, I'm Amy and this is Pet Rock and Roll. And today we're doing a live stream with two incredible people that are Andrew Smith and Guy Tansley. So without further ado, let's bring them up on stage. Andrew. Oh, he's buffering. There he is. And Guy Tansley. So thank you ever so much for joining me on my channel and allowing me to launch this brand new documentary. I can't wait for everybody to see it because it's absolutely fantastic. I have watched it, really enjoyed it. It was brilliant. It really was. But what we'll do first, if you guys, just in case there are people that are watching that don't know who you are, which they should do. It's terrible if they don't. I'm going to let you both introduce yourselves. You may need to go first, Guy, because Andrew's buffering.
Well, I'm the boss. No, he's not online. My name's Guy. So I've been helping Andy pretty much from the start with his documentaries as editor and director of photography, as Andy likes to call me. Basically, the guy who presses record on the cameras. Had a bit of input with that, but generally 40 odd years of keeping spiders. Running giantspiders.com, 25 years now that's been going, and my own business which is taking animals into schools called Bugs and Stuff.
Yes.
And Andy's buffering.
And Andy's still buffering, but never mind. Let's have a look and see who's joined us whilst we're waiting for Andy to come back in the chat. Let's have a look. Who have we got? Who is this? BTS Lectures Dinner official. Evening, everyone. Yes, can't wait for the lectures. I am going to plug them a bit later on. Oh, Andy's back. Come on, Andy, introduce yourself. Or is he? He's frozen.
I'm sorry, guys.
That's okay. The joys of technology.
Right.
Don't think he's got a good Wi-Fi connection.
No.
Guy, you need to keep moving so I know that you're not frozen. You can't sit still.
Call the paramedics. Andy's gone.
Yeah.
Oh.
Andy, what's your Wi-Fi like? Oh, he's gone.
You might need to plug in.
He's 70 now, so it's like he's just lost all the grip of it. I'm not far behind myself, to be honest.
Okay, let's go back to the chat then. So we have, oh, I'm really blind. Who's that? Yay Beauty. Hello, thank you for being here. I saw your comments earlier. So this person, they've already brought the DVD or the USB stick, and they are going to be watching the documentary soon. Exciting stuff. Invertebrate Bob. That's it. Hey Bob, how you doing? Thanks for joining. We also have Sean Spoods. Hello, hello, hello. Rocky Mountain Spider Freaks. Yay. It's been a while since we have seen each other. I hope you're keeping well. I really need to make my screen bigger or wear some glasses. Kip147. Hello.
Oh, Liz is on the case.
Yes. See?
Show if I click on. No, it's not 5D. No, I think it's going to have to be.
Still a proper toilet internet. Love it.
Off and then on.
Yes, switch it off and on again.
Switch it off and off. Off and off again. Might work.
Okay, go back to it and see what happens. Yeah.
We can hear you now, hopefully.
Andy's glamorous assistant there.
But I think they're frozen again.
No, I think they've gone.
You'll have to do the talking for him, Guy.
You stick on beard.
This is true. You can't do something that
I can hear you guys, but you can't hear me, yeah?
Yeah, we can't hear you now. It's just dropping
Yeah.
out.
we can hear you now.
Don't touch anything. Don't touch anything.
You haven't got any microphone on that computer downstairs.
No, it's working now, Andy. Just carry on.
Okay, well, it seems to be working for the time being.
Yeah.
Okay, fingers crossed then. Right.
Don't
obviously
worry,
there's a
we can
problem.
edit this
Quick.
bit out. We can edit this bit out.
Guy, help me.
Quick, introduce yourself before you freeze again.
Andrew Smith, before I freeze, right? Lizzie, set it up then. Right.
No, it's working. Carry on.
It seems to be working for the time being, but Lizzie's got a tablet there. Right, my technician support. Right. Anyway, okay, so, right, for the time being, it seems I'm not the spinning pizza wheel of doom, right?
No.
So
Okay,
Amy wants you to
like
introduce
that.
yourself, Andy.
That's it.
Right, Andrew Smith, what do you want to know of me? Other than
Who-
I've been at this lark for now
who-
45 years.
That's it. Who
Really
are
long
you?
time. Yeah,
What
Right.
What is lovetarantulas.com?
it is. How would you describe it? Obviously, it's rooted in Fitzgerald Publishing, which was obviously original book publisher, right? That for something like 25, 30 years was, for all intents and purposes, publishing the majority of anthological books. And then we had a video platform within Fitzgerald. We did one of the very first television documentaries, which was Desert Tarantulas. And then I rebooted it, must have been about now, say 12, 13 years ago, as lovetarantulas.com. And lovetarantulas.com is making, right, essentially academic tarantula documentaries filmed on location, producing, okay, footage that in 100 years' time will probably be the only footage of many of the spiders we're filming in existence. So we're traveling all over the world. Every year we produce a brand new documentary, and this conversation has taken between me and Guy in the past, right, is that my age, now 70, I really want to produce the documentaries that I want to make. So, right, we're now looking at feature length, often 2-hour, 3-hour documentaries that involve not just in looking at the spider themselves, we look at the behavior, we suck in all the latest research, we look at the taxonomy, we look at the arachno history as well, which is obviously my passion. So this is a very broad documentary, but they're basically academic documentaries. At my age, I'm not willing to waste my time producing documentaries that just simply don't hit right the mark as far as I'm concerned. So that's basically it. At my age, right, you now do what you want to do, which is essentially producing worthwhile documentaries that have a future. Yeah, there you have it.
Well, and I have to say that this particular documentary blew me away. Yes, it's 4 hours long. Okay, so it might seem daunting that it's that long, but
call me
watching
David Lean, right? Dr. Zhivago and Lawrence of Arabia.
But it goes so quick watching it. Like literally, I was so engrossed in it that by the time it got to the end, I was like, "No, what? It's finished." No, it's absolutely fantastic. And we have a teaser trailer to play, which we're going to play for everybody that's in the stream to see now, and obviously when they play back. And I think we should perhaps play it now, and then we can get to talking. I've got a few questions to ask you about the documentary itself. Is that right with you?
Yep.
Yeah.
Awesome stuff. Okie dokie. So we're going to play. So this is just the trailer. It's only about 7 minutes long. So it really is just a real snippet, but it shows you in a small nutshell what the documentary is about.
Yeah, it's the first 7 minutes, basically.
Yes. Yeah. And it's still good. Okie dokie. Here we go.
The Rio Sarapiqui, as with many of the rivers that flow into the mighty San Juan, the great divide between Costa Rica and Nicaragua, begins its journey as one of many tributaries, high in the headwaters of the montane cloud forests of the Cordilleras, a series of mountain ranges that sprawl across much of central Costa Rica. At their highest point, these mountains can rise 6,500 feet above the lush tropical rainforests that carpet the lower hills, and are frequently cloaked in rolling cloud cover that cuts out the sunlight and can reduce the air temperature at night in January to 15 to 17 centigrade, from a daytime norm of 25 to 28 degrees. For a tarantula spider to be able to thrive in a montane forest, it has had to adapt to being able to readily absorb the warmth of the sun through rapidly changing cloud cover. And to do that, what is needed is an appropriate colour that can readily absorb the rays of the sun, which is black, the dominant colour of Abdomegaphobiema musomilas, whose black velvety legs, carapace and abdomen can sometimes be seen along the forest paths, sitting outside their embankment burrows, quietly absorbing the rays of the sun. But only for a fleeting second, as the moment it detects your footfall or movement, it will be gone in a swift flurry of legs, leaving you with the task of once more enticing it out. Abdomegaphobiema musomilas, which can be also pronounced as mesomilas, and which is just one of a number of iconic and striking spiders from Costa Rica, which were discovered and described in the 19th century, and which we will be examining in greater detail later in this documentary. And which, after watching, I suspect many of you will want to visit Costa Rica and try and find these spiders yourself to photograph. Now, this is understandable, as Costa Rica is a small country in Central America which boasts of both an astonishing array of varied habitats and more theraphosid spiders in the scientific literature than any other country in this region. It also has a sizable tourist industry and is thus deemed safe to visit and explore, in contrast to neighbouring countries where crime and drug violence is still a problem. But if you intend to follow in our footsteps and go in search of Costa Rica's tarantula spiders, can I remind you that it is illegal to collect the wildlife fauna of this country, and if you are caught, and you will be caught, then you will be heavily fined. And for Americans, to be found with a Costa Rican spider in your suitcase means that the Lacey Act ensures not only heavy fines, but the possibility of a federal prison sentence. In other words, you take nothing but photographs and you leave nothing but footprints. And for those students of natural history who are interested in both tarantula spiders and arachnohistory, well, Costa Rica has not only a host of very attractive spiders to find and photograph, but also allows me the opportunity to introduce you to Salvin and Godman's classic reference work, The Biology of Central America, a multi-volume 19th century reference work which is probably the most complete and the most beautiful publication that has ever been published on a specific geographical region. And the 2 volumes on arachnids, written primarily and illustrated by Octavius Pickard Cambridge and his nephew Frederick Pickard Cambridge, I can assure you, do not disappoint. And of course, the real stars of this documentary must be the spiders themselves. So, let's kick off with some of the very first found. Aphonopelma samani, the Costa Rican classic zebra spider. Abdomegaphobiema musomilas, one of the most beautiful spiders from Central America, which is found in Costa Rica's montane cloud forest. Tililicatl albopulosus, Central America's curly hair, the most striking form of which hails from Costa Rica. Davus ruficeps, Costa Rica's sun tiger spider, a small but handsome little tarantula which resides under forest detritus in scattered populations across much of the lowland areas. Psalmopoeus reduncus, which is the region's arboreal spider, and like all arboreals, the devil to find. You'll also find it pronounced as Psalmopius ruduncus. Sphaerobophria hoffmanni, a fascinating tarantula with a plug in the carapace, which is reminiscent of Africa's horned baboon spiders. Sericopelma sylvicola and Sericopelma melanotarsum, one of a series of classic, large, buff-brown tarantulas that range across much of Central America and have grown into a veritable multitude of different species that I suspect will one day be brutally synonymized. It is a genus which has numerous large brown tarantulas that very few people on this planet can identify to a species level. And then we have Aphonopelma cridyrufum, a spider which over the last 30 years has caused much confusion in the hobby. And we will be showing you the real thing. And then we have the spiders that are affectionately known amongst my film team as brown jobs. The brown tarantulas, sometimes with an attractive abdomen, from obscure genera that scientists like Dr. Stuart Longhorn get very excited about. Aphonopelma xanthochromum, Sandinista glancillatum, Stichopodostorus denticulatus, and Obelix, plus Crypsidromus iceq.
Oh, I've got to add us back to stage. I don't know what I've done. There he is. Needs to press a button. Okay, so that, yeah, like I said, just a really short segment of the complete documentary, but fantastic. And the fact that you was able to include all of these tarantulas was mind-blowing, to be honest. Did you set out to go and record and film all of these tarantulas, or was you looking for something specific?
We had target spiders, which basically in the month we were out there meant that we were working considerably hard. There's a number of spiders attached to it that were filmed by individuals that we've invited onto this documentary. Right, Vito Lipinski, right, who you've seen his astonishing footage, right, on the Psalmopius, right, ruduncus, and also Zach Kaminski, who, again, right, we showcased as an example, right, of a young scientist in the making, so to speak.
Got it.
Can I point out as well, right? You've got Zach there.
There's Zach.
Right. Initially, right, you showed a whole series of logos which are our producers. Those producers are so important to what we do. Okay, they give us the money to support the making of these documentaries, which, as you guys suspect, are incredibly expensive to make. I mean, we generally budget between £8,000 to £10,000 a documentary, right? And the producers are an integral part, right, of what Love Tarantulas is all about, basically. So our producers, thank you very much, and hopefully you will be impressed with the documentary that we've now produced, right? Which I mean, I may have written and directed it, but okay, Guy next to me, right, is the guy that basically blends it, puts it together, right, and produces the gorgeous documentary that you guys are watching on your screen, right? So it's very much kind of a very much group effort, and our wranglers who are out there searching for the tarantulas, because none of this would have taken place, right, if Ben hadn't been there, Stuart hadn't been there, right, Guy, myself, right, scouring forests, right, embankments for these spiders. So right, Guy, a lot of love, right, Stu and Ben, right, if you're here as well, right, thank you very much, because without that whole team working together, the documentary wouldn't have taken place.
And you really do work so well as a team, and that's shown in the documentary too. You can see how well you actually get on with each other and kind of know what and who needs to do what. And I do have to say, at one point, I think Andy did promise to get you a beer, didn't he, Guy? Did he get you that beer?
Don't worry. You don't have to worry about that. Margaritas all round.
Margaritas, yeah.
Yeah.
That was a bit that I was like, I wonder if he got him that beer.
Unfortunately, when you're working in such harsh conditions, you do need the occasional beer at the end of the day.
Of course. So what was your accommodation like then, where you were staying?
It kind of varies considerably, right? To put it bluntly.
Yeah, we often start with something decent next to an airport for the first night, and then we'll move on. And usually, when you're traveling through these places, we usually don't really spend more than $50 a night per room, and sometimes it can be 3 people in that one room. So it really is on a budget. And you know, £10,000 for a field trip sounds like a lot, doesn't it? But we certainly don't live like like film stars.
No. I do have a picture just here.
I mean, that's perfect. That is a perfect scenario for us. There was nobody there. Most of the places we go to, they're empty. Maybe because we're off season, but also because these places are a bit run down and a bit shabby. But ultimately, that means they're cheap. But from our point of view, we've stayed in so many places that a lot of people would just turn their nose up as soon as they entered them rooms and would just say, "We can't stay here. This is ridiculous." But we go, "Yeah, it's fine." You know, shower works. No hot water, of course. You're lucky if you get electricity, and you know, if you're really, really lucky, you might have a Wi-Fi. But apart from that, we just need a bed, because you're only sleeping there at the end of the day, really. And the big luxury would be the fridge for the beer. But, so yeah, it does vary, and sometimes near the end we'll have a little bit of a nicer hotel to stay in if we've got a last couple of days somewhere. But most of the time it's pretty basic. Yeah.
So did you go to Costa Rica for your honeymoon?
Yes, I did. Yeah. Not me and Andy's honeymoon.
no. But
I went with my wife Jude a few years previous to that, and we stayed in a bit nicer places. But still, Jude's happy to stay in, even though it's a honeymoon. She's travelled a lot, so a lot of the accommodation we stayed even on honeymoon was, a lot of people would think, "Wow, why on earth are you staying here? It's your honeymoon." But if it works and it's cheap and you're on a budget or whatever, you can't spend thousands and thousands of pounds on these places for 2 weeks or something. We tend to travel for at least 3 weeks, sometimes 4 weeks. So if you've got a high level of expectation of hotels, that money's going to run out really quick.
Yeah, absolutely.
To sustain that trip over 3 or 4 weeks, you've got to reduce your expectations on accommodation.
I think the max we've ever stayed in a place is maybe 3 days, and that's probably pushing it. If we haven't found the target spider, then I maybe insist on another day. But I think maybe 3, 4 maybe is the max we've ever stayed in anywhere.
Yeah, we usually book the first couple of hotels and the last hotel, but in the middle we just basically wing it. So we'll find the spider on, say, the Monday, and then that Monday night I'll go online and I'll book the next hotel. And then we'll leave in the morning and turn up. Sometimes not even booking the hotel. Sometimes if you're in a place where there's lots of hotels, we did that on the last trip in Sri Lanka. You just turn up and there's lots of options, and we're out of season, so you can actually get a good deal. So you turn up at the hotel and you speak to the manager and say, "Have you got 2-3 rooms?" And you can basically dictate the price then, because they're empty, or you can just walk away. So sometimes it's even cheaper to turn up on the day. It's a bit of a risk, but most of the time it works out.
Cool. So we've got a couple of questions coming in from the chat. So I'm going to pop one of them up now. From Spider Ling Ling. Hello, lovely. It's not the best question, but have either of you become ill whilst being away?
Yeah, over the years, right? You just basically, to put it bluntly, right, there's so much put into these documentaries, a sense of money, investment, all the rest of it. Unless you're in a body bag, you're working. To put it bluntly. I mean, Guy, I think Thailand was pretty had a flu-like symptoms, right? But we just get on with it, right?
I went from India, the India trip. I mean, I'm vegetarian, but we ended up going to some Burger King because Stuart was like, I need a burger. So I was like, we'll go to Burger King. And just because while going through this town, we were seeing the big Burger King sign. So we nipped in there for a Burger King, and Andy had a burger, and Stuart had a burger. I had a veggie burger, and we had Coke, and we had ice in the Coke. And I don't know. That's the only thing I can blame that to. But that night when we got to the hotel, I was really ill. I was throwing up. It was coming out of both ends, and I was just really dehydrated. And I was in bed by like 7 p.m. while they were downstairs having dinner, and I was like, I can't move because I need to stay near the toilet. So basically, I was really ill, and that lasted, most of the night. And then 6 o'clock in the morning, Andy's knocking on the door, going, "Right, get in the car, we're going." And I still felt terrible, but I still had to get in the car and sit in the back, and I had to jump out a couple of times to throw up on the side of the road.
You got up and carried on.
That's the sort of schedule we're on.
Yeah.
I think you're there for 3 weeks, 4 weeks, you've got plenty of time, but that 4 weeks just disappears.
Just gone. Yeah.
The moral of that story is don't order the veggie burger.
No, the moral is don't listen to Stuart.
Yeah. I know Thailand, then Cambodia. The last week, I mean, all three of us had raging bloody diarrhea. We're up on the Imodium right by that point. I mean, Thailand, Cambodia, I was meant to say, that was really hard work the last 3 or 4 days. All of us were ill.
Yeah.
Right. Pol Pot trots, basically.
Okay, let's move on, shall we? So what was your hardest spider to find and most favorite to find? So if we say like this from the documentary that you've just released.
On the Costa Rica one, what was the hardest one? I can't remember. It seems like a lifetime ago when we did it, doesn't it, Andy?
Yeah, exactly. None of them were a real problem, were they? I mean, no, it's not like India or Sri Lanka. I mean, you search for pokies, it's a nightmare on Elm Street. Okay, but really in Sri Lanka, in many ways, it's one of the, I suppose, I must say, in many ways, almost the easiest documentary we've made in ages, in a sense of, right, one, wonderful infrastructure, 2 loads of little cheap hotels, and the spiders are reasonably easy to find. Right, which probably makes it, if you're an amateur who just wants to go to visit a country for the first time and photograph tarantulas, it's probably almost the perfect country. It's safe. The spiders are relatively easy to find in comparison, right? And basically you can fill your socks.
And they're beautiful spiders as well.
And they're beautiful spiders, right?
They
as
are,
well.
absolutely,
Right, with a great story behind them.
Yeah. And so obviously watching it, and I'm sure everybody else will see when they watch it, the weather wasn't always on your side. There's a lot of rain. So how did you cope with that, particularly with obviously having to go out and find the tarantulas? Obviously with the rain, it stopped you, so it ate away at your time for doing your field search.
Ponchos and umbrellas.
I could have thought you would have said that.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, there is that wonderful one where that track through the forest behind the hotel, where with the torches and all the rest of it, right? And then the camera comes in, and basically it's got a guy standing there with Stuart holding an umbrella above his head as he was filming. Right, I really love that shot. But that sums it up in many ways, right? You just, as long as we keep the cameras dry, the spiders don't care. They're out. I mean, when it may be raining, but the spiders are still sitting outside their burrows. Right, so obviously with the ponchos on, and as long as it's not overwhelming, like Sri Lanka, our biggest problem, right, was driving monsoon rain, which turned into the cyclone that I gather, right, was killed about 400 people. Right, so we were horribly aware that the monsoon had arrived early, basically, and was going to give us grief. Right, by Costa Rica, well, it was you could almost time it. It was really weird. 5 o'clock, it began to rain. Right,
yeah, that's the equatorial countries. They're pretty stable in terms of temperature and day length, season-wise. They're pretty, you can predict it. And same with the rainfall. Most of the time, it's going to rain 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock in the afternoon for an hour or two, but then it's going to dry out. So most of the time, it's pretty predictable. So you can work around it.
So there was one part in the documentary where it had rained, and you were looking for the Simani, the Phonopelma simani, and obviously their burrow, you know, was on the in kind of the ditch area, and it had flooded the burrow, but remarkably, the tarantula was just fine. Yeah.
Yeah, I think a lot of them can survive that. We found that with Pelanobius in Tanzania for that documentary as well. Basically, we were walking through areas where you could see on the ground the sand was totally, you know, there had been rivers and like 2 or 3 inches of water on this area, and you were thinking, let's not look for spiders on this bit, because obviously this is where the rain's coming down and it floods quite regularly. But the burrows were there.
Yeah,
and a lot of the time you get the spider out, you get the spider out of the burrow and it's absolutely caked in mud. A lot of the times I think these spiders they're just used to it. They're living in places where, you know, you get huge downpours and the burrow gets flooded and it just drains away quickly. I think the spiders just sit down and sit and wait it out, basically. And you got to remember, you know, they're covered in the hairs, which can repel the water. So you might think it's a nightmare for them to be completely submerged, but to them, it's a regular occurrence.
So yeah, they literally don't mind it at all.
And they're constructing burrows where you can basically create an airlock, right? You know, you got your chamber by just extending the roof of it. You sit yourself upright, and the burrow may fill up, but there's an airlock up there, basically. But,
and in Zach's segment of his research, he did a cast, didn't he, of a burrow. I'm not going to talk too much because you've got to watch it, but that was incredible. That bit really, and it just showed that they do have enough room to create that air pocket there. Yeah.
And
fantastic. Oh no, Andrew.
And especially something like that Pelanobius, you know, most people would keep them dry for most of the time. But you know, when we were there, there was really heavy rainfall in the scrub forests, and literally 2 or 3 inches of water just flowing over the tops of these burrows. A lot of the burrows have got a little turret, which raises them above that area, and they might have grass around it to stop the soil being washed away. So that's why they incorporate a lot of grass around the entrance to the burrow, which strengthens it. So when the water comes around, it doesn't just completely wash away the entrance. But yeah, even African stuff, which you'd think, you know, it's hot and dry, isn't it, in Tanzania? When you off the top of your head, you go, right, let's keep all these spiders hot and dry. But you know, there's a massive wet season where, you know, there's tons of water. I mean, we did try and flood out Pelanobius once, and we just laughed after like the 4th or 5th liter and just thought,
we're coming out.
Not bothered by rain.
Yeah, I love that.
It was probably just sitting down going, what's this? What on earth are you trying to do here? You see?
That's it.
Yeah.
In
so
some
we've got
ways
a question.
as well.
Oh, carry on.
Like,
no,
you're
carry
hoping
on.
that when in the documentaries we often stumble upon behaviour, right? Because we're obviously focusing on tarantulas that most people have never even seen, other than the original type specimens being collected and described. We're now zeroing in and studying the thing in many ways because we're setting up the cameras, we're filming it, following it through the night, etc., and we're making observations on behaviour. You're hoping that young researchers are going to look at these documentaries and go, "Hey, that is a great idea. I can follow this up." It's like the Somani footage, right, of the burrows underwater. We've given you that kind of information in the documentary, but it's really open now for young researchers that kind of zero in and then run with that and start producing behavioural papers, right? You know, looking at that as an idea that we've just thrown into the field, so to speak, to explore. And I think in many ways the documentaries have done that over the years, right? And increasingly, the emphasis is not so much on taxonomy as in the past. A lot of the new kids on the block are basically looking at the spiders like Zach has done, right, from behavioural studies in the field. And I love that.
Yeah. I absolutely loved Zach's part. I thought it was fantastic. I really did. And I have an Phonopelma simani, so it kind of made me think a bit differently about the husbandry that I'm currently giving giving that little dude, although it is only kind of this big, it's not an adult by any means. So, but yeah, it was intriguing.
I've kept them for a long time over the years, and they just don't burrow in captivity, in my experience.
Yeah.
In my experience, even when I've given them a setup with lots of substrate, they'll just still sit on the top.
Still didn't burrow. Yeah.
Or you give them this head start, you start digging down for them, and then they might go down, but then they'll just end up being on the top.
It's because they're like, hey, I don't need to do this hard work.
Exactly. Exactly. I think it's the case of the spider just using the enclosure as its burrow.
This is true, yeah. Because it feels safe in it. Yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
So we have a question from Tim Baxter. So he says, have you ever encountered dangerous wildlife and other inverts whilst on location?
Scorpions, there's always loads of them, right? I'm just thinking myself, right? Actually, film-wise, other than the occasional scorpion or snake turning up, I can't think of anything. Can you go?
We've seen quite a lot of snakes in Sri Lanka this time, and you turned the corner and face to face with an elephant.
Yeah, that was interesting, right? I thought to myself, you're not supposed to be here, right? This is part of a forest that you're not actually located in, right? So I did kind of put some footage together and then basically quietly move back up the track again.
And then we did drive through an area, a national park, where there was wild elephants just on the road, and that was just a few weeks ago. And we slowed down to take some nice shots, and then obviously the locals feed them, so these elephants were just trying to basically pluck us out of the car. So that was a bit unexpected. But no, thankfully we haven't had any really dangerous encounters that I can think of. I mean, we could make it up and make it sound more dangerous than it is, but snakes usually disappear before you see them. Scorpions. The worst thing that happened to me was a wasp in Mexico. Some type of wasp stung me about 5 times on my arm really rapidly. And I Googled what it was, and they're called Spanish daggers, which was a perfect name because it just came out of nowhere and just went sting, sting, sting 3 or 4 times up one arm.
Ouch.
But the effect of that wasn't that bad. My arm went numb for about an hour or so, but apart from that, thankfully, I don't want to jinx it, we've never had any real serious encounters.
I suppose you really would think about it. It's not been animals, it's been humans. Our biggest problem, right, obviously in Mexico, right, was not only the federal police intending to move us on always, but also obviously the cartels, right, in the sense that you get some little guy with a donkey, right, come up and quietly go, there are bad men asking questions about you, I suggest you move on, right? So we finished filming that day and moved on, right? Simple as that.
After we finished filming.
Yeah, after we finished filming.
And when he was looking for the Phoenopelma xanthocronum, if I said that right, you came across black iguanas. Did you have an encounter with them, or is it just, no, you can stay where you are and leave you alone?
In that particular situation, they were quite nervous of us, so they'd disappear. You'd see them off basking in the distance, and then as soon as you get near them, they disappear. But on my honeymoon, there was a couple at this place we stayed who were used to people, so we were hand feeding them bits of mango outside the accommodation. And there is a clip of that somewhere where unfortunately one bites my toes. I think it mistook my toes for a bit of mango.
Okay, we need to see that.
It is out there somewhere. Yeah. So yeah, no, wonderful lizards, especially the big male.
Yeah, they look impressive, I have to say.
Mm-hmm.
So let's go on to, obviously, I believe from watching the documentary that it focuses quite a lot on the, let me say it right, misomilas. And I did actually find it quite funny that you guys couldn't pronounce it. Well, you struggled in the beginning. I liked your Geordie version.
Yeah.
Guy, go on, give
the
Geordie version.
You basically, when you keep spiders, usually, especially back in the day, you know, you don't really know that many people, it's easy now, the internet. Remember, we're old, so we started long before the internet was a thing. So
Yeah.
you'd have your collection of spiders and you would know what they were called, but you would never actually said the names out loud because you'd never had a conversation with anybody. And then you turn up at a show and somebody's talking about this such and such spider and you're going like, I've never even heard of that one. And it's because it's a completely different way to the way you've been pronouncing it.
Yeah.
And did you notice we all had different variations of pronouncing the name? We were asking around in that car, right? You know, and every one of us had a completely different version of, right? There's only when I pinned down that Latin lecturer from grammar school, and not one of us had got it right. That's what I found hilarious.
Yeah.
Miso milas.
Miso milas, yeah.
Miso milas. But you got it right at the end, and that's what's
exactly
important.
right.
Yeah. So I mean, the tarantula itself is just absolutely stunning. I've got a picture here. So this is a picture of just one that you actually found, and not the most impressive one that you found. Obviously, Guy, you first found one back in 2016. And you believe that obviously that was the most important, even though was it Ben found a huge female?
Oh no, that was that clip is relating to that actual trip. So I found the first.
Oh, that
one.
trip. Okay.
Yeah. The beast was found by me. Right. It was a beast, right? Basically.
Yeah.
Well, that's how we made it.
Yeah, I mean, I've not got a picture of her because again, I want people to watch the documentary to see. But oh my goodness, absolutely.
Yeah, we struck gold with that site. Right. Basically, we obviously we're not going to tell anybody where it is.
No.
But we found them on the roadside, and then this was connected to a piece of land owned by somebody, and he came out and we had a chat with him, and he said, "Yeah, you can just check our land." And we went in there, and it was just like this long embankment, and 10, 12 big females in this one little stretch, and males as well. It was unbelievable. And I always remember we got a couple out and we filmed them, and we even mated a pair. So that's a little bit of an exclusive there. Yeah, we mated them the next morning. We put them all back where they belonged. And then I jokingly said, you know, because these spiders are worth quite a lot of money in the hobby. And I jokingly said, have we just put back like $5,000 worth of spiders in the home?
Yeah. But I mean, that pairing attempt, obviously I don't want to say what the outcome was because I'm not giving any spoilers away, but were you nervous? Like, you know how we do it in captivity, and we always I get a little bit nervous because I don't want anything wrong. You know,
I mean, it wouldn't. If it had, well, without spoilers, but with spoilers, it was successful.
Okay.
I guess if it wasn't successful, you probably wouldn't have seen that footage.
He was a hell of a male as well. He was a big male. Right, he was an impressive spider, right? We went, wow, look at you, boy, right? You know.
I mean, and also the 4 like experienced tarantula keepers. If they can't keep the male safe, no one can.
No, this is true. This is true.
But if you pull back on that shot, we've all got sticks and we're all just ready to pound it.
I did see a stick just come just a little bit, and I was like, oh yeah.
And I think we had 3 cameras on that scene, so you know you're trying to film, but you're also keeping an eye on the male. You know what it's like when you're filming mating videos for your channel.
Yes.
The most important thing is keeping the male alive, but a lot of people just
100%.
forget that, and they think the most important thing is filming it. And a lot of males get killed, and you think, well, really, you should be saving the male before getting your footage. But you know, you haven't got four people in your living room helping you, have you?
No, it's just me.
And we do have that sequence later on where the male is killed by another, right, in another mating sequence.
Yeah.
And then she lifts him up and carries him off into the sunset.
I know. I was actually quite shocked because she didn't look like she was going to do that. She didn't kind of give the normal kind of fangs out, like I've had enough kind of thing. And yeah, it was just like, Wow. Okay.
Whack. I know, right? You know, but I just love the way it ends, right? Which, by the way, all right, Guy tried to cut that final ending out, right, where she lifts him up and then carries him up the hill, right? But I insisted it goes in, right? You know.
Like, it was great. It was great that you managed to include, and you included another pairing footage as well, towards the end of the documentary, and that itself was great
Oh,
too.
that's
So yes,
footage, isn't it? Breathtaking, right? Of you know, it's Redunkus. That was just well,
yeah.
blows your mind.
So there you go, people. Like, there's three pairing in the wild in this documentary. Right. That's amazing. It's just absolutely amazing. So let's go on to talk about the urticating hairs, Andy, because you seem to be a bit nervous about the urticating hairs on the Misomilas.
It must have been about 8 to 9 hour, 10-hour drive. When we finished that footage, within an hour, everything had been parked back into the truck again, and off we drove for a really long drive, right, in search of Azabapelosis. I think we were heading for at that point, wasn't it? Right, yes. And those hairs between your fingers are really, really irritating, right? And so initially, right, with that spider, and Misomilas is famous for urticating hairs. You really know you've been done by them. But actually, they were so laid back. I think in the end, I didn't bother to use gloves. I think at the end, I'm just holding the spider.
Yeah, you did. You're like, in the beginning, you're wearing gloves, and then towards the end, you're like, oh, it's fine.
Well, the other thing is, we were intended to drive. We actually had an extra day because that evening or that late that afternoon, we found this wonderful colony with these huge specimens. And so basically, right, we abandoned the idea of being on the road. We stayed the night with the guy that owned the land, right, and filmed virtually all night, right, and in the morning filmed the mating season, and then piled into the truck and drove, I don't know, 8, 9, probably 10 hours, right, north, right, to the next point. That's how it works. You finish the film, once it's in the can, on board the truck, off we go again, right?
Yeah, 100%. Because I did do a bit of research to find out what urticating satay type the Misomilas had, and it is a type 1, which is the worst.
Yep.
So just going to show a picture there of just one hair, but wow, yeah, I wouldn't want them in my fingers.
Not so, for a long drive.
No, absolutely not. Yeah, so afterwards I was like, I wonder what type it has. Yeah, type 1, that's the worst, isn't it? So yeah. Have we got any more questions coming in from the chat? Let's have a quick look, because I may have missed some. Just doing it on my own, it can be a bit difficult to keep track. Let's have a look. Are you going to be doing any research here in the US and possibly working with Dr. Russell Smith or Andrew West?
I think it means Rick West.
Sorry?
No, Russell Smith. Right. I would like to do an Inferno project. Right, okay. We've been talking about there's a festival, I think in September, in one of the small towns in the back end of Colorado, I think it is, that has a tarantula festival with little floats dressed up as tarantulas, all going through the streets, right, etc. And then within that month, all the males in Colorado, hence the males, then descend on the females in the area. So I was thinking possibly, right, of basically doing a Dacacera hensi project, right, or Phonopelma hensi as now is, because it's got a wonderful arachnohistory background as well. I'm not going to go into it, but the reality is that it would make a great documentary. So possibility of Phonopelma. But my only problem is this: it would have to be filmed over 2 years. We'd be doing the Texas, Arizona, Oklahoma, and then the next year we'd have to do basically Arizona, New Mexico, California. That is a big, very expensive project.
Yeah.
Right. And we have actually at the moment halfway through another project. We've tarantulas of Asia, right, essentially Southeast Asia. We filmed in Thailand, we filmed in Cambodia, but in order to finish the project, we need to film in basically Myanmar, right, old-fashioned Burma, And Burma at the moment, infrastructure has been taken out by an earthquake. So we've got all this footage in the can, but we can't finish the project until we basically filmed in Burma. So that's another one on the side, right? And that's one of the reasons why we made the Tarantulas of Sri Lanka, right? Because basically I needed a documentary that we could film in 1 year and then bring it out, right? Fulfilling, right? Because I've got so much money tied up in the Southeast Asian project, which we can't finish until we get to Burma.
Yeah. And so then just go on from that. So you've just come back from Sri Lanka. So you finished your filming, and then obviously you've got to go on to the next step. And will that be a Kickstarter again? Will you be doing a Kickstarter?
Oh yeah. Well, February, right? I think Guy's been thinking about, right? We'll launch it, and we've basically filmed all the target spiders, right? They're beautiful, obviously, right? You can't do anything wrong with pokies of Sri Lanka, and they're also there's great history behind them. There's great stories, and I've been out there now. This is my 4th time out there, right? Guys, maybe 3 times. Right?
Second time.
But, yeah. So basically, I was out there with IUCN, USA Fish and Wildlife. There's a whole series of projects, right? So we can produce a really first-class documentary on these spiders.
Sorry, Minnie Rock's getting her hamster out, so she's trying to open the lid. It's just like a wire lid on a big kind of like plastic foranium, but she's trying to do it quietly. You done it?
The last time I got a hamster out when I was 15 years old working in a pet shop, it savaged me.
Oh, really?
Everywhere.
Trust me.
This guy said to me, "Is this animal safe with my daughter?" I said, "Perfectly, sir."
Yeah,
Put my hand in. Blood everywhere.
I'll show him. He's so cute. Tiny little Roborowski. His name is Hammy. There you go. There you go. She's got his daily held time, so
Yeah.
Okay, so we'll look forward to that Kickstarter then. We'll keep an eye out for that. Obviously, I'm sure you'll advertise it enough that we will see.
You certainly would.
But obviously for the Kickstarter for this documentary, I mean, I got a t-shirt, I got a mug, as well as the DVDs. Well, no, they're not DVDs. Why do I keep calling them DVDs? Because they're not anymore, aren't they?
Well, there goes.
I know. They're USB, which is amazing because I was able to watch it on many different formats without having to worry about sticking it in the DVD player, which we kind of do have, but it doesn't really work. So yeah. So I got them, and I also got the presentation tin as well, didn't I?
Yeah, right.
Yeah. And so let's quickly then talk about the archive.
Ah, the archive, which, by the way, at the moment is selling like hotcakes. I don't think we've ever had anything sell so fast, right? Because it's, I think for a lot of people, well, when we've been doing shows, people walked up and gone, "I'd love to buy one, mate, but I haven't got a DVD machine." Right. And that is said to us increasingly over the last 3 or 4 years. And we've noticed the sales, right? Exactly, right. Look at USB, right? And the footage on there is 1080 Blu-ray, which we couldn't do on DVD discs. We couldn't afford it. Right. So those have opened up a whole new, ball game, basically. And that 64 gigabyte disc, stick, shall I say, has got everything I've ever done. Everything. Yeah. Whole. I started looking back. How many years of video, right? Documentary filmmaking, all contained on that one stick. Yeah,
all the books and then all the DVDs. Well, see, DVDs. I need to stop saying that. Documentaries. All the documentaries, which I do have.
Yeah, and there's a few things on there which have never been available online either,
Yeah.
A few things which have never been available to buy. So the downloads are really cheap. They're only £2 per download. So the sticks allow us to then move on to 4K as well for the next couple of projects. All the Thailand stuff's been filmed in 4K. All the Sri Lankan stuff's now in 4K.
It's
So
going to
that'll
be
the next
amazing.
step. And that allows you, them sticks allow you to do that, obviously.
Mm.
And there will be
I
an
mean,
option for 4K download as well.
Yeah.
But with it being such a big file, we're still going to offer the 1080 version as well.
Yeah, that'd be good. Yeah.
Mm.
And so what we obviously you generously donated one of these and one of these to give away during this live stream.
Yeah.
So I think this might be a perfect opportunity to give away Tarantulas of Costa Rica. Do you agree?
Yeah.
Yeah. Please feel free.
So it's really, really simple, guys. All you need to do is, let me just pop this up here. All you need to do is pop in the chat the words Costa Rica. Just pop that into the chat. Doesn't matter how many times you do it because you'll only count once, but just make sure you spell it right. And I will give you a few minutes to do that. There you go. They're coming in now. So I'm really, really grateful that you were able to donate these to give away as well. Somebody's going to be so lucky. He's okay. And so there, I do have some more questions for you. Just having a quick look. Oh yeah, I wanted to ask you as well, whilst everybody's popping that into the chat. So the locals believed that the Phonopelma simani was the downfall for some of their cattle and horses, in that they were biting them on their feet. But simani venom isn't that potent, is it really? So I was just wondering whether you kind of agreed or believed them, or is that just something that they've taken as a kind of like a tradition that's been passed down? Not a tradition, but a folklore, if you like, that's been passed down.
Yeah, I mean, from my viewpoint, it's wonderful stuff in the sense I collect the folklore, right? So when you interview these people, right, and we've interviewed from Mexico, and didn't come across it elsewhere in Suriname, but essentially for Central America, Mexico, the belief that these spiders take out goats, cattle, horses, right? There's various variations on the legend, if you want, but it's a firm belief, even though it doesn't make any sense. And in Mexico, we took aside a rancher who obviously had doubts himself. And when you saw us handling these spiders and talking about them, and we put him in the documentary actually, right? He then collected for us. We've got these messages. I've got you a tarantula, and we turn up at his house and end up with a great big bag, right, with a tarantula stuffed in it. And he himself, right, obviously overcome this belief. But many years ago, I think it was in Costa Rica, we went to a vet. Was that right, Guy? Do you remember we interviewed a vet? Were you with me, or was it just Paul?
Yeah, it was a vet, yeah.
Yeah, who also came up with the same thing. He said, yeah, these spiders kill goats.
Yeah, even the vet thought there was some truth in it, and you would think, wow, that's pretty spectacular. So, they would call it folklore. Now it would just be an urban myth, wouldn't it? It's just a thing which is passed down, just a bit of information that's been passed down for years that these spiders are doing it. It was Costa Rica with Simani when on my honeymoon I was holding one and I was photographing it, and I was showing the woman who ran the accommodation where we were staying, and she was Dutch, I think, and I was explaining how like they're pretty harmless, you've got nothing to worry about, the venom's not that bad, and they're not that dangerous. And at that point, the maid, one of the Costa Rican maid women, walked past and sort of took a double glance at me holding the spider, and she was absolutely terrified.
Was she?
These things can kill horses. Why on earth are you holding it? So we got her across, and through the manager woman, she was sort of interpreting what I was saying. So I was trying to explain to her, the local person, that they're not that dangerous. She didn't look convinced, unfortunately. But
no, I bet.
Yeah, so that's the sort of thing that happens. It's just one of those urban myths.
It is.
Which is they're difficult to get rid of, aren't they?
Yeah, I
when we went
suppose
to
that
the
there's
hotel,
nothing you can do, is there?
Right. When we
Sorry,
actually went
Andy.
back to the hotel, right, later on, obviously when we were filming, because Guy had this perfect little colony, we went back there and I can't remember if we stayed the night there or not. And
No.
lo and behold, right, the colony had been exterminated. And obviously
Yeah,
went out
which
and
is
sprayed them
sad.
shortly after Guy had left, probably. Right.
Maybe.
Which is sad, but you can
I don't
understand
know, don't know for
why.
sure, but it was a strange scenario because in that grounds of that hotel there was like at least 20 or 30 burrows, and when we went back to the same place, we couldn't find any. Whether or not that colony had just naturally fizzled out or whether they had been taken out, I don't know. I couldn't say.
Yeah, so you don't really know, but
Yeah, chances are, yeah.
Yeah, the smoking gun, right? Huh?
Yeah.
that's it.
Yeah.
Right, so I think we've given everybody enough time. So, well, this is your last chance to pop the words Costa Rica into the chat if you want to be in the draw to win one of the USB
Yeah.
of the documentary.
Yeah, it's a funny one, isn't it? Because it's not a format that's really, popular in that sense. Maybe we should copyright this idea, Andy.
Maybe.
Right.
Right, so I'm going to hit draw. Good luck, everybody. Here we go. Oh, we've got 11 entries. Amazing. There we go. Do-do-do. And the winner is JG's Cats and Things. That's Jackie. Congratulations. So, Jackie, if you want to send over your address details to myself, and then I can pass them on to Guy, and he will get this out to you. Amazing stuff. Congratulations. And shall we go ahead and give this one away now?
Yeah, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Let's have a look. So we'll change the what I'm just going to do is take it off of the screen, and then we'll change the wording. So just give me a second whilst I sort that out, because I've just shut it down. I didn't mean to do that. I've got to find it again. StreamYard giveaway. There you go. Let's have a look and see if there's any questions whilst I'm doing that. I'm sure I saw a question. Oh yeah, here we go. So how friendly and willing to help are the locals on your trips? Or are they cautious and wary due to the restrictions in place many places now?
They're usually all right. I mean, I always find it fascinating how, going back to Tanzania, the Palanovius, basically we're in the middle of nowhere in Tanzania looking for this spider. So there's 4 sort of British guys walking around. Paul always says we just look like we've lost our car keys because we're just wandering around, just looking at the floor. And then, the Maasai areas where they're regularly bringing the goats through. So you get like, you'll be in the middle of nowhere for about an hour, and then out of nowhere you hear the goat bells ringing that the whole way around the necks, and then you'll be by like 100 goats with a couple of Maasai herders, and they just smile, and they might come and stand and ask what you're doing, but most of the time they don't really react that much, which I find it fascinating. We always say, imagine if you were sitting in your house one day and then 4 Maasai men came along and started turning rocks over in your garden, you would be like, what's happening? Yeah. So a lot of the time we do ask for help. A lot of the time when people will, especially that Costa Rican one with the Abdulmegaphobema, the guy came out and spoke to us, and then we just tell him what we're doing, basically be really honest. And then he'll say, yeah, I've seen them on my land. If you want to come and have a look. So a lot of the time it works. And in Sri Lanka it worked. We were walking down this sort of town area, and again we must have looked quite suspicious again, because You know, in this middle of nowhere town, there's 4 white guys walking through, shining torches into holes and trees. And then this really nice guy came out. Turns out he was one of the top people in the town, one of the farmers. So we got invited into his house. We had a chat and we explained what we're doing. And he said, yeah, you can come back and search my land tonight. And he came out with us and he took us onto the land and he was really helpful. Yeah. So most of the time people are pretty amicable.
In Thailand as well, do you remember that time that we were searching again for a specific target spider, and all day hadn't found it. I just happened to walk over the road and get my big plastic spider out to this little lady, right, in a little kind of little sweet shop, and she went, ah, and then immediately dragged me by my hand all the way around the side of a building, right, and pointed to a hole in her garden. And there was a spider, and then the whole team immediately descended on her back garden, and Guy found another brilliant hole on a little mini embankment on the far back, and as he found it, we then gave him a shovel and he had to dig it out, right?
Oh, really?
Yeah.
So you did.
A lot of people, you know, these trips are glamorous. And you might think, yeah, we spent a month in Thailand, but to be honest, most of the time we're just knee deep in pig manure in somebody's back garden, miles away from the sunny beaches and the glorious white sand.
Of course,
So
of course.
it's not a holiday. It's sometimes it's definitely not a holiday.
Yeah, you're working.
Yeah, exactly right. You know, so I say to my wife as well, right? I'm working, right? So it's a film project, and
Yeah.
I mean, when we years ago, before we actually started filming, I think we spent 10 years doing reconnaissance. So people think, how on earth do you find these spiders? Well, in many cases, we've been there before, right? Me, Guy, Paul, Carpenter, right? First, like, must have been about, for me and Paul, 15 to 20 years, we were going all over the world, not actually filming, photographing, and searching for these spiders. But I had it in my mind that one day I was coming back and making a documentary. And having done a lot of the reconnaissance, if you want, it's made the actual filmmaking much, much easier. Not a lot easier, but a little bit easier. In a sense, we at least have a rough idea.
Yeah, we have what he's trying to say there is we have a rough idea of where the things are. Not always. So a lot of the time we'll just turn up and, you know, we're searching new areas. But the advantage of being old is that we've done it all before. So when we go back, we're pretty certain, or not certain, but we've got a good idea that we're going to find them again.
An idea of where, yeah. Okay. So at least then with your experience.
Yes.
You know, like if it was me, I'd have no idea.
Yeah. And also we have help of other experienced people who've done similar things over the years. So yeah, we do get help on, in certain areas. Because if it was a properly funded documentary,
not filmed on a shoestring.
I was coined it as a not-for-profit organization.
And not
we don't really make that much money from it, unfortunately. But if we are doing it properly, to be honest, we would just take the spiders with us and film them on location, and then just not release them. But if you watch any of these modern documentaries which are on the TV, there's lots of things about the team have 24 hours left to find this beetle or this spider, and they've just brought it with them from the start.
Yeah, it's already there.
Not going to spend thousands and thousands of pounds on a documentary and think, well, we didn't find it.
Yeah, just in case.
So a lot of big companies would just take the spider with you, and then build the story around that. But we
at lovetarantulas.com, we have no money whatsoever, so we're actually out there searching for them.
Yeah, exactly.
Which brings me back to Thailand, right? A garden full of pig shit and guy with a shovel digging out a spider.
Yeah, exactly.
Hilarious.
I had the Japanese encephalitis shot. I was fine.
Exactly.
Okay, so should we? I've got it all set up now. So should we give away one of these archive
The
USBs?
archive.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Which does
Yeah, so we've
contain
got them.
Costa Rica as well.
Yeah.
Yes, it does. Yeah.
Yeah. And it's our best selling at the moment, right? Documentary. It's just going like hotcakes.
Amazing. So if all you got to do is pop lovetarantulas.com into the chat, and then we will take it from there. So let me just touch on the British Tarantula Society lectures and dinner. Will you be showcasing something at the dinner?
Area, Sri Lanka.
Yay!
Right.
Yeah, we haven't started yet, though.
Yeah, I still got to go through the footage yet.
Yeah.
So ordinarily, for anybody that doesn't know, at the British Tarantula Society lectures, which are on Saturday the 7th of March 2026, Andy plays the kind of teaser trailer of the next up and coming documentary. So we get to see that way in advance of it coming out. So that's a really good reason to go to the lectures, I might add. So yeah, so I'm actually buzzing to looking forward to that. So you better get a move on, make sure you've got it all sorted and ready to go on the 7th of March.
Yeah, first day of January, I should be sitting there, like going through hours and hours and hours and hours and hours of footage, basically we filmed.
Yeah, I think
actually putting it together.
I've just sorted the files out from all the cameras, and I think there's 5,000 files or something.
Wow.
Like, that includes photographs, but mainly video.
That's crazy.
Yeah, because we have sort of like at least four cameras shooting stuff for 3 weeks.
So that's it. I mean, it must be so difficult to just go through it, get it all sorted to actually put into production, and then come out with what is just an absolutely fantastic documentary. You seamlessly put it all together. It just runs so perfectly. And like I said to you at the beginning, I didn't want it to end. I got to the end of the 4 hours and was like, no, I wanted to see some more. It's crazy that you managed to do it. I mean, I know that I put little videos together that are 10 minutes long. It's nothing. And so to know kind of what you put into making these is, it must be hard work, but worth it. I hope you'd say.
It is. Right.
Yeah, I mean, it is. It does take a long time. And out of everybody who's watched it, we watch it the most, obviously, especially Andy. Andy watches it the most because he's got to, as soon as I make an edit or a tweak, I force him to watch the whole thing again in case it's a glitch. So he's probably watched it like 50 or 60 times.
No,
sorry, there's a glitch because it said lovetarantulas.com. YouTube didn't like it, so sorry about that, guys. We've changed it just to Love Tarantulas. If you can use that word instead, that's it. Perfect. It's coming up now. Thank you, Jojo. It was your comment that I saw you panicking. It disappeared. It's like, where's it gone? Perfect. They're all coming up now. I was thinking, who's not entering? Why are you not entering?
Yeah.
Perfect.
Yeah, but the archive, you can spend 24 hours with Andy Smith if you really want to.
You can, yeah. This is it. You can just sit and talk, yeah.
Yeah, 24 hours.
It's about 24 hours worth.
Yeah.
Stuff all together.
In 10 years' time, when I'm 80, it'd be 48 hours. 48 hours later.
Have you just celebrated your 70th birthday?
Yeah. It's it was in April, so the whole idea of the archive is celebrating the fact I'm 70.
Oh,
Right, and I
that's
intend to be
amazing.
doing this for at least another 10 years, just in case you guys think I'm stopping. It ain't gonna happen, guys. Right,
And that's when volume 2 will come out, is it?
volume 2, right? 10 years time.
Looking forward to it. Wait, how many have we got so far? 9. There's 19 people watching, but only 9 have entered. Well, maybe they don't. Maybe they've already got it. Maybe they've already got it. Oh, there's 10. That's good. So, is there anything that you think within this documentary was a real big highlight for you?
The
I'm
end.
just thinking myself. Right. I mean, one, we filmed obviously a whole series of target spiders, which we found, right, and then filmed. It's telling 2 stories. Okay, from as a historian, it's telling the story of the biology of Central America, and it's also telling the story of HMS Herald, right, and the fact it was the survey ship, right, to find Somali. So that was the stories I wanted to tell.
Yeah, Andy gets more excited about graveyards and train stations than he does about spiders.
I've dragged him across graveyards in search of collectors and arachnologists, right, in the past, right, and yeah, but yeah, I mean, we were lucky. I mean, there's breathtakingly beautiful spiders. We found all of the target spiders, and the footage is breathtaking. It's and as I said to you, yeah, I think in 100 years' time, much of the footage we've been filming over the last 15 odd years will be the only footage available of many of these spiders in the field. Right. What's becoming really obvious as when we go back to places is that suddenly the agriculture's encroached on their habitats, and in many cases, right, that we simply have found that them reduced dramatically in numbers. So that is a really sad aspect of it, really.
Yeah.
With Hannibal Sumika, we made a documentary that highlighted the problem, and and now the India Wildlife Services are actually focusing on and saving that spider. So if we hadn't made the documentary, the spider would simply have gone quietly extinct.
Which, there you go. I mean, that just shows how important actually what you guys do is, you know.
And I don't know if
it
it's coincidence, but the last 2 trips we've done, the Thailand one and the Sri Lanka one, because me and Paul are into beetles and all sorts of insects, but there's been a distinct lack of insects on the last 2 trips. And like, really shockingly sort of aware that there doesn't seem to be many insects around on these last 2 trips. Because normally, we get a lot more stuff filmed, different things, beetles and whatever, millipedes. But the last 2 trips have been pretty dire when it comes to other insects. So we have little moth lights we take, and the last couple of trips there hasn't been much even attracted to the lights at night time. So
yeah, there was a part that you added into this that showed the difference.
Yeah, that was somebody else's photograph, I think, but it demonstrates it perfectly, doesn't it? I think it was like a 10-year gap, wasn't there, or a 5-year gap between the photographs, and how much dramatically different it was.
And it was dramatically different, not even just slightly. It was dramatically different.
Yeah, so things are definitely changing for the worse. And say that now, even with England, if you drive down the motorway in England during the summer, 20 years ago, your windscreen would have been smeared with dead insects. And now you're lucky if you get 2 or 3.
Your number plate would have been covered. You could have gone for a speed camera, no problem. But yeah, now there's hardly anything.
Yeah, and that's become apparent all over the world now, or it seems anyway.
It's pretty scary, really, isn't it? Pretty scary. Anyway, let's go on to a lighter note. Let's not don't like being sad. Let's give away this archive USB. So I think everybody has entered now. So good luck, everybody. Let's go. Who's gonna win? Cyan. Sean Spoods 9521. There you go, Sean. If you want to send me a message with your delivery details, you can find me over on Facebook. It's probably the easiest way to contact me, and then I will send over the details to Guy and he'll get one of these out to you as soon as. Yay, congratulations.
Well done.
That's perfect. Awesome. Let's take that away now. So I think I've kind of covered everything that I was going to ask you without giving away too much information, because I really do want people to watch this. I mean, I'm not joking when I say that it's thrilling. It's fantastic. It really is. Everything that you've put into this just blew me away. All the history that you did, Andrew, like, you know, digging and finding out all of that. To me, that was just priceless. And then to see, obviously, all of the spiders in their wild habitat is just, it's better than anything for me anyway. So yeah, so people, please, obviously, those that won this today and the archive, congratulations. But please head over to lovetarantulas.com and grab one of these, or, you know, just get the archive. The archive's got it on it anyway. So, and then you've got all of them, and they're all fantastic. I have them just here behind me, and I've watched them all, and I love them all, and I could watch them again, you know. Is there anything that you guys want to say? So I think we're kind of coming to the end of the stream now. So
just a massive thank you, first of all, to the people who support us on Kickstarter.
Yeah, massive. Yeah,
you know, the money's gone up from the last. We've done it 3 times now. The next one will be the 4th. And the money's just gradually increased over those years. So we have got a dedicated group of followers who thankfully support us. And you know, I think it would still happen, but it makes things much easier. It takes like a burden off Andy's wallet.
the Kickstarter is great because obviously you make a pledge, but you're getting something in return. So you're not just donating money, although you can, and donating money is also, you know, a great thing to do, but you're getting something in return. And when I received my package, I even messaged you, didn't I, Guy? And I was like, is this all for me? Like, I was blown away by, and I was like, oh yeah, okay, I did actually pledge that, and got, you know, there's different tiers, isn't there, that you can pledge. So yeah, the Kickstarters are fantastic.
Yeah, it's all the stuff like the t-shirts, and you know, they're exclusive just to the Kickstarters, you know. Yeah. And so we'll never have them for sale, like, you know, any other time.
No, so you can't get one of these.
No,
do the Kickstarter.
Yeah,
in the mug.
Yeah. So, you know, different levels, and of course the top levels, the executive producers who have their logo displayed at the start.
I know, right? And this.
Yeah,
so I've got the archive.
Well, for the Kickstarters as well.
It's in a special tin. Look at
the hardest part is actually trying to come up with the next thing to try and offer people.
Have to think about it.
Andy Smith's field-worn underpants. You have to gather much.
Andy Smith welly boots, right? Yeah, and umbrellas. We discovered welly boots, right, in Sri Lanka for the first time. Went to a little ironmongers in the back end of nowhere, and all emerged with brand new welly boots on, right? Which turned out to be absolutely fantastic.
Love it.
Yeah.
Yeah, so Sri Lanka will be the next one. All the films done. We found all the spiders. Some good stuff coming. So we'll get Christmas out of the way. And then probably February, March. But we'll start working on it straight away, basically. I think from the Kickstarter, I'll not start till February, March, but Andy's got Christmas off. And then January, I think we'll dive straight back in and start doing it. And hopefully have a good 45 minutes ready for the premiere. Edit at the lectures.
Can't wait.
And then hopefully this one will not take as long, because Costa Rica took a long time because there was 15 species in there. So there's the Sri Lankan one's got less, obviously, because there's less ones to find there.
Yeah.
So hopefully the whole process will not take as long from Kickstarter to completion. So we really appreciate the patience that the Kickstarters had, because it took over, I think it was 14, 15 months to get everything out.
It's our biggest, most ambitious project we've ever embarked upon, basically. Right. I mean,
Well,
it's basically two-hour documentaries.
you
Right.
did an amazing job, because you wouldn't know, like watching it, you wouldn't, I don't know, you watch it and it just seems so professional. So you did an amazing job. Well done. That's all I've got to say. Well done. So yeah, I don't think there's not any more questions. Just we got one here. It's not a question, but it's just want to say thanks to Amy, Guy, and Andrew for an amazing night. Thank you so much.
Yeah,
Thank you for all being here, honestly, because you make a difference too in joining the live stream and then supporting lovetarantulas.com too. So thank you so much.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you. Cheers, guys. Right.
Take care of yourself, everybody. Bye.